When I was asked to put this production together, a lot of us who've worked here at SUU know the story of Old Sorrel and the heroic and epic aspects of that horse breaking through the snowdrifts and saving the expedition. What a lot of us didn't know anything about were the men and the people behind the story. And so I was mandated to tell the story of the people behind the horse. And as I was researching and studying the historical documents, those people began to speak to me. Those people began to come out of the woodwork, literally out of the snowdrifts. And I could envision them doing things up on the mountain. And so by doing that, the people became the heroes of the movie rather than the horse. The horse is absolutely an epic and important figure, but it's the people that are now shining as the heroes who are creating the support behind the university.
I'll go up the mountain. I just need a few days to get a team and supplies.
After 4 months of preparation and 5 days of rigorous filming, SUU staff, students, alumni, actors, professional cinematographers, and community members were able to recreate and portray Southern Utah University's history in a way that has never been seen before.
Crowd murmuring, anxious, heads moving, action!
John Smith, professor of communications at SUU, was brought onto the project, not only as the director, but as a producer and screenplay writer.
The challenge is making sure everybody around me had my creative vision as well. So all along the process, I'd written something down on the paper in the computer, and I could see it in my head and making sure that it came out at the end. And so that was probably the most challenging part, making sure that others could share in seeing what we needed to see together.
Smith and his crew's goal from the very beginning was to portray Neil Bladen, the Cowboys, and Old Sorrel as community heroes rather than just community members. They were heroes that sacrificed their homes, their families, and their lives to provide a brighter future for generations to come.
Hey, take it away, boys. It just means I won't be needing it for a while.
They were people of vision. They could see ahead and what we needed to bring about great things. And this was the beginning of it because it was the greatest. It took so much courage and commitment and love for Southern Utah. What a foundation, for our college and a great story of the type of people that have settled this land.
When looking for actors to play the part of Neil Bladen, SUU alumni Jason Wade from productions such as Cokeville Miracle, Saints and Soldiers, Airborne Creed, and 17 Miracles came to mind. Wade graduated from Southern Utah University with a degree in theater and broadcasting. Not only did he already have roots planted at SUU, but he had a special connection with the part of Neil Bladen.
I'll be happy, knowing that I made a difference today. So I said yes, absolutely. And then it was a couple weeks later that I got a call from Jane Roberts, and that's my wife's aunt. And she let me know that they're actually related to Neil Bladen. That Thomas Bladen, Neil's older brother, was in fact her great-grandpa. And she overnighted a packet of more material than I ever imagined was even out there. Pictures, references, birth certificates. And so it gave me that sense of growing up with Neil and Thomas. It was wonderful just to kind of feel like, now I'm in a way slightly connected to Neil Bladen. And then to be on set, and these people have the most amazing stories. Everyone has a story. I love being able to sit down and you can read it on a page, you can read it out of a book, but to have the actual descendants sit there and tell you that story is just a lot more powerful.
I got a feeling we're laying the foundation for something bigger than just a building.
Along with Jason feeling a connection to Neil Bladen, actual descendants took part in the film by being members at the town hall meetings and community gathering scenes. Having descendants be a part of the film gave it a special touch, but using authentic artifacts made it even more realistic.
I modified the shooting slightly to include Jason Wade holding the original watch that Neil Bladen might have even held while he was on the mountain. Then I wanted to make sure that there was a little bit of a buzz about how authentic the movie was, that we used authentic materials and we were trying to be as authentic as possible, and create a more depth of feeling for the actor as well. I know that when Jason was holding the watch, he felt that he was able to connect with Neil Blayden a lot better. Some of the other things that have come forward are pieces of wood from the original Old Main foundation. When I asked the SUU carpenters to create a fake stack of lumber for our wagons and for some of the other scenes, they put a couple of big slabs of wood on top of it, and they kind of, with a little smile, asked me, "Do you know where this lumber came from?" I said, "No," and I said, "It looks great," and they said, "Well, it came from Old Main, from the floor joists of Old Main when they did some earthquake renovation. And so the lumber in some of the scenes is actual wood that might have come off the mountain in 1898 during some of these first expeditions." I remembered I had heard it before, that the original Jensen sawmill is at Frontier Homestead State Park. And so when I heard that, I said, "Okay, well, can we get it working? Can we actually cut wood for our film?" And they said, "Yeah, we can get it working." Well, we had to pay a mechanic to kind of get the engine going. We had to cover up the gas engine during the filming. There would have been a steam engine up on the mountain. But it took you back into history to see the actual sawmill functioning and running and cutting wood. It was amazing to know that that same mill cut the original wood over 100 years ago.
Do you see the size of that blade? And it was funny because they didn't even tell us what we were going to do. I didn't know. They said you're going to come and work the mill. But I'm thinking movie. You never work it. You just pretend to work it, and here you get this saw going, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And so they told us about 5 seconds before what we're supposed to do, and I hope it comes off that we knew, or at least it looks like we knew what we were doing. But that was so much fun. You're just sitting there pulling levers, and you got guys yelling at you, and you're just kind of running the saw down, and it works. It cut it so straight. I just can't believe that something that old still cuts so straight.
We were told that our production schedule was very ambitious, that they would be surprised if we got everything shot. And in hindsight, there were some things that we didn't get shot because of our condensed time frame. But we had a budget to work under, we had time frames, we have students that are busy, we had actors that are busy, and if things are planned out well, it comes together.
Students from Southern Utah University were heavily involved in the production of the film. Most students volunteered their time or were part of classes that gave them the opportunity to be involved. SUU has a reputation of providing hands-on learning, which many of the students were able to experience.
That's why I asked John Smith to do the project or to lead the project, was because we could have easily hired some real hotshot professional organization, and they could have done as well of a job, but this is all about us. And the more students, the more people in the community, the more SUU faculty and staff that are involved, the better it is, the more we care.
This film provided an opportunity for students to be involved in a career-like atmosphere, but mostly it gave the students an opportunity to learn the history and to be involved with the community itself. One student experienced community involvement firsthand.
As we went through the people that could do possible positions, one of my students was a member of the rodeo team, and she would know everybody in the valley, she would know everybody in the county, so I depended on her to come through and collect the cowboys and find Old Sorrel.
When John approached me, he told me that I needed to find a draft horse, and I was thinking, okay, that's easy. Draft horses are everywhere, and he's like, but it has to be sorrel. And I just looked at him funny, and I was like, I have never seen a sorrel draft horse in my life. And he's like, well, we gotta find one. And I looked everywhere, I asked a bunch of people, the closest I could come up with was Belgians. And they have like the red body, but they have blonde hair. We actually didn't find Old Sorrel until 2 weeks before shooting. And I came across Mark Evans in Parowan, and he has a draft horse, but it's bay, and it has a red body and it has black hair. And so I asked John, I was like, this horse actually fits the description, has a long neck, it has long legs, long face, but has black hair. And John's like, well, can we dye the horse's hair? And I said, well, I did it for a 6th grade science fair project, so why not do it now? First off, we had to bleach Ralphie's hair, and it turned out to be kind of a disaster because we painted tiger stripes on her actual neck. It actually looked really good. It turned kind of orangey, and she already had like a red tone in her hair, so it was kind of easy. And then we had to layer that with a red dye over the bleach, and it actually turned out pretty well. We had to go, probably about a week straight of going out there and trying to dye her hair, but it turned out pretty good.
Old Sorrel wasn't the only thing that had to be prepared for filming. The grounds crew at SUU had to transform the modern-day Old Main building into its 1898 version.
But to try to recreate a scene, the ground had to be all covered with gravel. We've got gravel on the sidewalk and gravel in the flower gardens a little bit and on the lawn a little bit. And I turned to some of our grounds crew and said, sorry about this mess. And the answer was, oh no, we love this. This is so great. We were so happy to be involved in this. And I thought, yeah, this is really fun. Because this isn't an inconvenience to anybody. This is us, this is our heritage.
You did it. We all did it.
Scenes for the film were shot at a local church in Parowan, Utah, and at Southern Utah University, but most were filmed at the Frontier Homestead State Park and Brian Head Ski Resort. Production week arrived, and all participants were eager and willing to get rolling. On Tuesday, February 10th, the crew set out for the biggest production day of the week. Before the sun came up, the cowboys, their horses, the wagons, and the crew were placed on the slopes of Giant Steps Lodge Ski Resort at Brian Head to start filming. There were 15 cowboys, including wagon drivers, that volunteered their horses and equipment for the film. The crew was supposed to recreate what was known as the storm of the century, despite the irregular warm temperatures.
In order to create the storm of the century, we had to make sure that there was shadows, that it was kind of dark, and so we started shooting very early in the morning, but that sun came up really quickly, and having sun streaking through kind of ruined the shot for some of the things that we were trying to do.
When Smith first spoke with Brian Head management about creating snow for the blizzard, the management informed him that they would only be able to provide one snow gun. When the crew showed up on production morning, 3 snow guns were set up for filming on a ski slope that was shut down specifically for the production. Because there were 3 guns, the sun quickly disappeared under the man-made blizzard.
When I walked up at Brian Head and saw the horses and all the cowboys, and it was just really an emotional moment because these guys look so great. The horses were great. And everybody had put in so much work, and all the students that were around and the people that had come up just to watch it, I saw faces bigger than I've seen in a long time, smiles bigger than I've seen in a long time.
The temperatures may have been warm, but the snow machines made for a cold day not only for the crew members, but for the cowboys, wagon drivers, and horses as well. The storm that trapped those Cedar City men in 1898 was easy to recreate, as it didn't take the acting cowboys much to get into character after being covered in a heavy, wet layer of snow.
Riding through the blizzard, that was pretty amazing. Those snow machines make a lot of snow, and it was very realistic. I had snow everywhere. It's pretty neat to be able to be part of history making and showing the history of SUU and the founding of SUU and what it took to get it going.
In the reenactment, snowcats were used to pack down the snow to create easier paths for the wagons and horses. When the horses and wagons reached the trails, horses were breaking through snow that reached their stomachs, and wagons were getting stuck just feet off the paved road. For the safety of the cowboys and the horses, the decision was made to steer clear of the created paths where the snow was still too deep. The crew managed to set up shots that still showed the action they needed while keeping the safety of the cowboys and their horses in mind. Many hours were put in throughout the week, and overall, the production of the film went well. Without the help of the Cedar City community and everyone involved, the history of Southern Utah University would not have been brought to life once again.
This school isn't just for the students, it is for us. I truly believe Cedar, we will be happier because of it. We'll be better for it. Education is the key.
Sometimes we go through our everyday life without knowing or recognizing the rich and deep history that surrounds us. And without that knowledge of our history or past, we can't prepare for our future.
The fact that these people dared greatly as part of this epic story of the founding of the West and bringing civilization to the red sandstone of southern Utah gives me a belief that we can dare greatly today, and we can add the same kind of value to our communities and to ourselves as they added to their communities. For Southern Utah University to become the destination for the best education, the most caring experience, we've got to double down and dare greatly, like those before us dared greatly.
Let's get to it. Going back up the mountain.
Why don't lose him? Just hang with me. Just let him go.
That's impossible.
The mountain in the winter?
Don't look at me.
Ew, okay.
Cleaning up the town.
Making this a better world.
Get that camera out of my face! Once they get off this edge, see ya!
I know.
Yeah, I think we got everything that we need for tonight. That's a wrap. Thank you.